series with me, Captain Preetham Madhukar, founder of Skills Beyond Education, an author, TEDx speaker, and an elite performance coach. And today with me, I have Kavitha Garla, who's a very passionate coach, speaker, business development trainer. She's won multiple awards in many facets of life. And also very interesting is she is Miss Karnataka pageant winner, and she is. I'm always amazed that she's got so many hats to her. And thank you so much, Kavita, for taking time out and being here on the show.
Thank you so much. I was runner-up, so I was not.
Okay, no, 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 fair enough. It's still
I
a
want to make sure
one.
if the winner is watching, she shouldn't be offended.
Yes, okay, good for clarifying, runner-up,
Yes.
but equally admirable that to go forward, to put yourself out there to be judged and to take part in the challenge. I feel hats off to that. Yeah.
Thank you. And I started all this late in life, so I wanted to catch up with too many things, I think. So,
So even more,
yeah.
pursuit of passion.
Thank you.
So, I mean, it's a very interesting topic we picked today. Passion and purpose, and your brand and your work is all about passion and purpose, right? And it's such a literally intoxicating subject in a way because everybody wants to do something about their passion, especially purpose. And today it's common to talk about these things.
Yes.
So, what does passion mean to you, and what does purpose? What do you mean by that?
So for me, I always, I found this example very interesting. So purpose is a log, and passion is the fire, right? Passion keeps that log burning. So
Mm.
that's what it's for me, and I later in life I realized my purpose in life was I want to help people, and I didn't know how. And
Mm.
growing up in those days, right, the only way I understood helping people is I should be in an NGO, I should do social service, I should do this, I should do that. But then I realized growing up that, you know, everything that we do in life, right, we are helping somebody live a better life. Whether I was working in a hospital, I think I helped a lot of pregnant women make that decision on birthing and things like that. So for me, purpose is deep rooted. It's something I feel like some of us are born with it. Like, you have an intense desire. If you're a scientist, you want to invent something new that will change the world. For me, it was always about helping others grow, helping others better. And so that's my purpose. And the passions, for me, passion is the fire that I bring into everything, right? um, I feel like whatever I do, I believe in bringing in my 100%. Otherwise I don't do it. Even if it's cooking a meal, or I'm on in this conversation with you, I never take it for granted. I feel like I have to bring in my 100%. I have to be excited to be here.
Mm.
That's when the audience will want to listen to us, right? If we come here and just sit here with, that's not going to work. So
Right.
that's what passion and purpose are, and that's how I want to live my life. If I'm having a conversation, whether be it my maid or a CEO of a company, I want to bring in my true self into that conversation.
Superb, superb. It's wonderful to hear that. And I also would like to thank all the viewers, listeners who have tuned in today. I hope this will be an amazing session. I know it's going to be an amazing session. Thank you so much for taking time out, being here with us, listening in. And the chat is open. You can ask your questions, especially something that you're striving either to Kavita or to me and or to both of us, and we'll be happy to take it up. Drop it in whichever channel you're watching. It comes up for us and we'll take it from there. So, Kavita, I like the analogy that you mentioned about fire for passion and the log, and I think the length of the log, in the sense like if it's going to fizzle out very quickly, maybe a purpose which is very short to something which is very long. I'm looking at it from that way, and sometimes people uh, struggle to find their passion, right? They're working, they're doing things. I remember a doctor who was, in his medical practice for 15, 20 years. And he said, now I want to stop. I want to get into theater. I want to be, act in plays. And he took up that because he said, I never got to do it because I had so many commitments at home and other things like that, right? So how do people find it early on itself in life if they could?
I think, most times people say don't follow your passion early on in life because then you can't earn money. But I also feel like, I know many doctors, like what you're saying, right? They do the work, but they don't have the passion. They want something else. So for me, I feel like today's day and age, kids have so much more at their disposal, and even following a passion could become their purpose. So before it was follow your purpose and then passion comes in. Now I feel like most people, most of the younger generation are following their passion, and that's where they find their true purpose in life. And I feel like there's no one set formula. I
Yeah.
feel that a lot of introspection, of course, in what wakes you up in the morning, what gets you out of bed, and if what you're doing right now is not doing that for you, I tell people, start figuring out what is it that you want to do that gets you out of bed. Or if what you're doing now is what you have to do, maybe it's for money, right? Many of us have to earn that living. Then figure out how you can bring passion into it, how you can change the formula a little bit so you're excited to go to work, excited to do what you're doing. I feel like there's no formula. I always tell people, take feedback. Ask 10, 15 people in your circle, why do they come to you? That itself tells you what you're good at, how people see you, right? I have a set of 5, 10 questions that I ask continuously to my inner circle, my family, my friends. And then I figure out what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what is it that I need to work through. That I also come to know what is my passion, what is purpose, how are people seeing me, do I need to change it, is this how I want to be viewed to the world, am I coming across very selfish, or if I'm always asking, am I giving? So all these things give you answers. And I'll be saying this many a time, you are also a coach. Getting a coach or a mentor is the best way, because they see you in a different way. I spoke about it in my TEDx talk too, that the way they show you the mirror, no one else can. And a very insightful coach will be able to look inside you that you cannot see who you are. And that's how I came to know my passions and purpose, when my coach said, this is what you need to be doing. And in those days I was, I think, 42, and I still didn't have a dream. So it's only when I got a coach and mentor that a lot of things, sparks went off, and I said, what am I doing with my life? I need to live more purposefully, more intentionally. And
Yeah.
that's how, life took on a new meaning. I don't know if that made sense, but
Yeah,
that's.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, having a coach for sure helps. Sometimes people are very clear. I mean, like Tendulkar or some big musicians. Well, early on they're very clear, but sometimes we don't get that. So you need someone else to little bit nudge us,
Yes.
to us that focus light where it is. And like I remember one of my clients for a coaching thing, and her passion, and rather her purpose that she was very driven to, is to become a parenting coach,
Hmm.
right? And more specifically helping parents who got sibling children. I said, that's fantastic. She said, I want to, my own pain, I want to bring it out so I can help people resolve such conflicts. So and she's very driven in that. So I think that's a well captured thought, bringing that passion, waking up in the morning without
Yes.
having to be woken up. You go to go come karna types,
Yeah, yeah.
you get up and you go there. I think that's the beauty of passion, I think. Yeah.
One more thing that I'm passionate about is sales, Captain. So, but when I started working with my coach, I really loved the work that he did, and I ended up working with him. And I told him I don't want to do sales. I am not going to do sales. And it took a few sessions for him to actually tell me that that is my strength. My strength is speaking. And he said, Kavi, you're already telling people about me, about the work that we do, so you're actually already selling, so why are you hesitating to, I always sold in my life before that also. Then I realized sales is not, that word selling has got a bad connotation. It's more about telling. It's about telling people the good things about what you are trying to get. So I've actually, sales is my passion. I love it so much, and I feel that's a skill that I have learned from my mother. Though never worked a day in her life, but I would see if she believed in somebody or something, she would tell 100 people about it, made sure that person had sales. And that's what selling is. You don't need to. Then I realized, why am I running away from this? So even now, I do sales for trainers and coaches. I mean, I love business development,
Mm.
and I realize that the best coaches and trainers are not the best salespeople. They don't know how to sell themselves, and they shouldn't. They should
Mm.
have somebody else, doing it for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one
Yeah,
of the
I
things.
think it's an interesting facet to know about you and enjoy
Yes,
sales and I completely agree on that because I think if there is one skill a human being should really master and learn is sales, or you want to call it in any name like persuasion,
yes,
negotiation. I mean, it's the sale if the skill of how to convince your idea or product or service in a way, right?
absolutely.
And I think
And
that's
then you believe in it, no, Captain. Like there is nothing. It's just you're talking about it, and it's up to the other person to actually want it or not.
yeah.
Like when you go to buy a television, I love listening to these people. Right, they're so passionate about the Sony TV versus the Samsung, and they have all the information.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I love it. I love watching salespeople sell, and the
yeah.
passionate ones are the ones who stand out and can make the big sales.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. In fact, I mean, just going off a little bit, the passion. There is one salesperson. She constantly calls me for some stocks and other things. I keep saying, okay, I'll probably think about it. I'll call me later. She will call me like 100 times or whatever. I mean, number of times, but very passionate. I was
Correct.
like, her, you know what? Why don't you join my team?
I have been asked that. Okay.
I would in my team. I know you're sitting for them, but join here.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
because the passion is there, the drive is there, they will do anything with.
Yeah, and it's contagious, right? You need people like that in an office.
Yeah,
Otherwise, because it's the same product you're selling day in and day out. So you need somebody like that who's passionate and will take it further, come up with new ideas and
yeah,
brainstorm and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did
So
she join your team?
not yet. She's like she's somewhere else. But I would joke, you're really
Okay.
good. I think you're going to convince me, but you come on my team.
Very nice. Nice, nice.
So that's the end. Anyway, just to reintroduce, I have with me Kavitha Garla, who's a TEDx speaker, a coach, a mentor, and she's worn many hats in different industries. I think in retail, IT, hospitality, training and development. So she's here, and so wonderful to converse with her, especially on a subject that she's so passionate and driven with purpose. And thank you to all the viewers as well who have tuned in late now. And it's an amazing session. Hope you stay tuned in till the end. We have some nuggets of wisdom coming all the way through, and do stay tuned in. So,
Thank
Kavita, what is your own passion?
Oh my God. It is so difficult to put it down as one. Like I told you, sales is definitely one of my passions in terms of work. I love business development. You won't believe when I first started doing this, I used to do cold calls,
Hmm.
and that was, and everybody runs away from cold calls, right? I used to love it so much, Captain. I can't tell you. I used to wait to go to work, and I used to have a list of phone numbers. In those days we had HR and L&D, and you could call, and it just kept me awake at night saying, okay, what are they going to say? So sales is definitely one of my passions. And I think for me, during the course of the last 10, 12 years, I've realized that executive presence makes a huge impact on a person,
Hmm.
personally and professionally. So I'm very passionate about how people dress, how they look, their body language, their communication skills. Of course, a lot of this came from working with Ian Faria for 10, 12 years. He's passionate about communication. So in that, I developed my own niche of executive presence. So I'm very passionate. So even today, I do sessions on executive presence for companies. I love talking about the different aspects that make up one's personality and how it affects the overall outcome, whether you're looking for a raise or a promotion or just creating impact in the world. Then, thirdly, I'm very passionate about anchoring and moderating events. I love being on stage. I love introducing people. Many times I'm said, why can't you should be on the panel? You should not be introducing. But there is a thrill for me to have like six panelists asking them question. It really, I think for me, the last few years is about learning and growing, right? And I think when you do events, whichever industry you're going to be a part of, you have to learn about them. So that's one thing that keeps me going. So I love moderating events. I also love curating events, because
Mm.
if somebody gives me a challenge, this is the program we want, and these are all the kind of speakers, this is what we want to achieve. I love to ideate and come up with how a whole day can look like. So that's another thing I'm passionate about. And I'm also passionate about. I took up modeling at the age of 50 on a dare from my children, who said, "You know what? You keep talking about all your missed opportunities. Show us you can do it." I said, "Are you guys crazy? I'm 50 now. I have two boys. They're in their 20s and live in London." So I took it up and I said, "I'm going to do it." And at those times, of the first Tanera ad had come out, and it was all over, and they had taken real women, and size didn't matter, looks, it was not model type. So I actually wrote in my diary that, I drew a picture of me in a Tanera ad, a billboard. I still have that book. And I said, I'm going to be on that billboard one day. I'm not on the billboard, but I, and you know how the universe, what Shah Rukh Khan says, right? The Kayanat will come by and make all your dreams come true. And I was talking to somebody, and they said we are having this stylist come and do a session on tying saris differently. I go to that event, and this guy is a stylist for Tanera, and
Mm.
he's the one who chooses the models. And I went and told him, "See, this is my dream. I don't care what you do, I have to be in a Tanera ad." And he said, "My gosh, I love your passion. I will make sure that somehow we get it." And I did the first one. I did an Ugadi ad, not Ugadi, yeah, Ugadi, I think it was. It was a yellow sari. I went and did it. And again, during COVID, he called me. He said, and we became friends.
Mm.
And he said, "I'm doing a shoot. I know it's COVID. I know your family might not let you out, but you have to come." And I let everything go to the wind. I went. I did the shoot. It was beautiful. It was a Diwali shoot for Tenera. It was one of the biggest shoots I've done. It was all over the malls. My kids came from London, took them Orion Mall, big life size, double life size pictures everywhere. And my pictures are still there in all the Tanera stores. So I'm super excited. I'm passionate about that. And
Wow.
I told you it's not a short answer.
Yes, it is. And it's wonderful. I
And
think
one
I'm
more thing which you're passionate about is parenting. I'm also very passionate about parenting, because I made 10,000 mistakes. So I love talking about my mistakes now and make sure that other parents don't do it.
they will do it. Actually, more than parenting, I'm passionate about will and building people's will.
Yes. See,
Singular. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing here. For all
yeah,
the viewers who may not
yes,
have been,
this
author of
is
the
the
book,
book.
yeah, three culprits: laziness, fear, and doubt. And it's like I almost feel like it's I'm on a mission on that footing. That's so important to build. I always call will before skill, and
Yes.
build this because that will trigger this entire journey of whatever you have to achieve in life. Right? You have to go and do it at the end of it. And I
Absolutely.
think,
And the three culprits you speak about, right?
yeah.
Laziness, fear, and doubt. I think they ruled the first half of my life.
Okay.
Because I mean, I shouldn't say first half, but I definitely feel, I think, when we live in fear and we have so much self doubt and
Yeah.
nobody to help us,
Yeah.
I think you start living with it and you become lazy, right? You don't take the steps, because getting out of that the transformation journey itself is very difficult.
Yeah.
And so you become lazy and you live with all these feelings. So it's a great book and I really love it. So
Yeah. I mean, I call it the pit of procrastination. You go in, and it's like a nice lullaby world, and you stay
yes,
there. Few years pass, and you suddenly realize, oh my God, what happened?
you blame the world for all your problems, not to
Yeah,
forget. Yeah.
absolutely. So we need to wake up. So
Yes.
the book is available on Amazon for those
Yes,
who may be
please.
interested. Please do take a look. And also, more importantly, Kavitha is very active on YouTube and LinkedIn, if I'm right. And please follow her. I'm very active on LinkedIn and YouTube. We'll be sharing the links. Please do follow for more such sessions.
And
And
I
I have
think
a
people
comment.
should know that we both did the TEDx talk together,
TEDx
and that's
talk.
how we
Yes,
met. So
yes. Yeah,
your
we'll
talk
come to
was,
TEDx. Yeah, I've not forgotten the TEDx. We're coming to that.
yeah, yeah, sure.
And there's a comment here. Always a pleasure from Rohit Kokane. Always a pleasure listening to Insights of Kavitha. Thank you so much, Rohit, for sharing.
Thank you, Rohit. And he also has his own podcast. So thank you for joining in today, Rohit.
Nice, superb, superb. Thank you so much. And coming to some other parts, I mean, like like you mentioned, TEDx. Let's go for that.
Okay.
And it was a very passionate topic, and you showcased what why you your purpose in this. Tell me, like, how was the preparation for it itself, right? Because that's what it comes down to in the end.
Yes. I don't know about you, Captain Preetham, but for me, maybe I'm a woman, I'm more emotional, and I was talking about my own journey. It was a very emotional 2, 3 months. There was a lot of the imposter syndrome. Am I qualified to do this? Why should I be on the stage? Asked myself a lot of questions. Many a time I wanted to write a message and tell them I don't want to do this. I'm not ready. I'll do it next year. And my friend said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "Why do you even have these questions?" Just so one of I did go to my mentor and I told him, this is what I want to do. I want to talk about my life. Then I had another friend, Sandhya, and she said, "You know what? Just write down your whole life story. Forget how short it should be." So I actually sat down 1 or 2 weeks and wrote down everything about my life. For me, and that was a very therapeutic journey, I should say, to write about my life and to actually, I don't think I'd ever gone to the depths of what I had felt growing up, the insecurities, the self doubt that you talk about, the fear, living with no confidence. Though on the outside, I looked super confident, looked good, everything. Inside, like, I had zero confidence.
Mm.
And I'd lived most of my adult life like that. And to come out and say that in public, today being where I am, took a lot of guts for me. And but this is the first story I wanted to share on my first TEDx.
Mm.
And it took a lot of iterations because you know how it is. You have to bring it down to 1,500 words. So every day, cutting some 8,000 words to 1,500 in itself, it was such an effort. Um, I just feel that it's one of the best things I've done for myself, and I'm so glad I did it. I don't know. I feel that's my legacy that I'm leaving for my children, my grandchildren. If they ever want to know who your mother, your grandmother, great grandmother was, watch this TEDx talk and you'll know who she is. And yeah, I think if given a chance, I probably would do one more. But it was a very surreal experience.
Yeah.
Though we did it in a college in Davangere, when I first saw the stage, I said, "Oh, it's a small stage. I've been on bigger stages. I have spoken to audiences 10 times more than this. So, what's the big deal?" But as you would agree with me, when I went on that stage and stood on that red circle, s- whole life, came flashing in front of me. I'm like, this is TEDx. It is a big deal, and you are blessed to do this. And I'm just was so grateful that day for everything that had happened in my life that brought me to that red circle to share my life. And even if it changes a few lives, if it inspires somebody to live a better life, I think I have done justice to it. More than anything, feel supremely grateful that I got this opportunity. And I had shared this, I believe I had shared that I want to do a TEDx talk with many people I did not know. And you won't believe it. A few years back, my son and I were doing manifestation. We had printed out a lot of things that we wanted to do. And one of the things that he had printed for me was me speaking on stage, and it had said TEDx speaker. And that's still in that was always there on my bulletin board, and I saw it every day. And it manifested. So,
Wow.
how, I mean,
Very inspiring. Very inspiring.
I don't know how it was for you. It would be lovely to hear
I
how you
I
felt.
mean, for me, it was not as emotional like for you. I can actually see you, get emotional a bit here.
Yes.
But for me, I thought that was my moment to share my mission, my message, and in a way, it very nicely syncs with what you're talking, passion and purpose. It talked about the passion and purpose, passion that I came for sailing on the seas. It was like almost like it had taken over me. I possessed that I have to sail on the sea. Does not matter what it is, whether I'm mopping decks, forget becoming captain, mopping decks to repairing some stuff. I want to sail on the seas. And almost blinded, I would go seeking how to go about, what should we do, how to even become join a sailing career, or Indian Navy, Merchant Navy. It didn't matter to me. So that whole journey of passion, overtaking, and I think this is where the will part comes. You
Yeah.
know, passion is there. All of us have passion, but how many pursue it with will, with persistence, right? And to say that yes, this is my passion, I'm not going to let go, I'm going to go after this, chase with perseverance, and then maybe it becomes a purpose at some point, or it may be together, right? And so I would like to encourage the viewers to watch this on TEDx. Kavita, if you could share your TEDx title with me now. What was the name?
It what was the title? Choices and consequences of failure.
Choices and consequences. Sorry,
Yes.
choices and consequences with
Yes.
Kavita's TEDx speech. You can go to TEDx and search that. And my TEDx talk was 3 powerful life lessons from nature that you can implement in your life, and you'll find the simplicity that how nature teaches us, and you can use that to find maybe your passion, persistence for sure, and your purpose in some ways. And I got some questions before we continue. We got some
Yes.
comments and questions. And there is from Ganesh
Hi, Ganesh.
Vancheswaran.
How are you?
Yes, Ganesh, nice of you to share this thought. Kavita, other than early exposure as a child to diverse themes, friends, and activities, what can be done to help them understand their purpose in life, at least by their teenage or early 20s?
Very tough question, Ganesh. I can only tell you what I did with my husband and I did with our kids. I think we should, as parents, we try to restrict our children sometimes, right? You have to be a doctor, this, that. I think we should give them the freedom to think, first of all the things they want to be, and the freedom to explore. Most kids start off with, I want to be an astronaut, to then, like for my younger son, he wanted to be a lawyer. So we explored that path. Then he realized in college that he was very passionate about taking photos and videos. So even in college they formed a group, and a few of them, and actually started going to events and started taking photos and videos, and they actually became quite popular. My husband and I encouraged them to, it's called Frames in Motion, the company still exists, to actually register, to understand what it takes to have a company, to register a company, pay taxes, understand the law. So we let him explore that, and he actually had applied to become do his degree in filmmaking and all that. He wanted to do it. Then, but we said, okay, if you want to do that, that's what you want to do. But both of them were very clear they didn't want to be engineers. As much as my husband was very passionate that at least one becomes an engineer, both said no. So both did their BBA. But what I'm trying to say is we let them explore what they wanted to do. And I feel somewhere my son realized filmmaking is not for me. I want to do business administration. So he ended up doing BBA in Joseph's. Then he did his master's in Imperial College. And today he works in sales. Oh my God, just like me. And he's passionate about sales. So from being an astronaut, a lawyer, to a filmmaker, everything. Now he is in sales. So I feel like we should let our kids, give them the freedom, right? When they are with us, let them explore, let them experiment, make mistakes, and tell them it's okay. Use that as stepping stones to do things that they want in life, because you don't want them at 25 when they should be looking at a job, earning money, to say I want to experiment now. Give them the space and time when they're living with you, when they're young, to say, okay, you want to do this, go try it out. It could be art, it could be sports. Encourage them. If they feel like they want to be the best football player in the world, give them all the means, put them in all the classes, and see, maybe they could be. So that's what I would say, Captain. And thank you, Ganesh, for the question. I hope
Thank
I
you.
answered it to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, just to share some perspective, Ganesh, just to share the things. Uh, like the age that I typically work is 14 to 24, I call it,
Yeah.
And one of the advice that I give to my the parents of my community is the two mantras that you need to keep is trust and support, especially in that age group. That means trust their decision and support them. Most of the time, parents, when we say, I think you beautifully captured, give them that freedom, follow your passion. Many times, parents will say, Follow your passion as long as it's mine.
Yes.
Follow
Yeah.
your passion. Otherwise, if it's not mine, then don't follow it. So I
True.
shall let them go. Like you said, what is the worst? If it's not something life-threatening, seriously damaging them, then let them explore. This is one life, and they have their own story to create. When they are 40, 50, 70, 80, they are the directors of their life. And can we make them or enable them to take charge of their life, enable them to direct? Maybe they are directing it in a movie that the parents are not happy. They are maybe a path. Let's take and allow them that confidence, right? And ask them, what can I do to support you? Okay, you want to become, like you mentioned, become a filmmaker, or get into movie production and filmmaking. Then what do you want? Okay, you want a camera? Take it. Let me see if I can get you a camera. Or do you want this knowledge? Join course. So I think my thoughts are on that. Second thing, just to add, is between the age of 14 to 18, from my own studies and research has shown that the first seedlings or first seed of passion is sown there.
Yes.
Just that little bit. Maybe you spoke to some known uncle of yours, auntie, or some grandparent, neighbor, read a book. Those first seeds are sown. At that time, the children want to experiment. At that time, parent is an adult too powerful to overcome, right? And they can obviously overpower a child's passion. And if that time they just give that seed, I always call it like a parenting is like a farming, like a gardening, where you give that little bit to grow, and once the passion is grown to a good extent, then they will take over. No need, the world need not stand with them. They will go ahead and shine like a star. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think just my 2 cents on that
No, I
topic.
think the word you use, right? Trust is so important for your child, especially in today's world, right? Children have so much more, and the outside world is always beckoning them. So I think as parents, if we can build that trust in the relationship, that they always come back to you, right? I think by letting them live their true purpose, their true life at a young age, I think we build that trust with our children to say we are there for you. And I
Yeah,
always tell my children that don't worry if about failure, because you have us to fall back on. As long as we are alive, we are there for you. And help you figure out. We are with you as a team. So it's like teamwork, I think, as the children grow older, to be parents.
yeah, super. I think I completely agree on that. There's one more thing I think which probably sometimes parents may be thinking about is how do we differentiate passion, which comes, to the fickleness that comes where people keep switching in the name of passion, right? They say, "Oh, I'm passionate." Day after tomorrow, what happened? You were passionate. Yeah, I was, but today I'm passionate about something else. Okay, fair enough. Go for it. After a week or two, okay, no, no, that passion is gone, or no passion has come. Right? This is also happening. The fickleness has increased, and we blame it or put it on the passion as such, right? So especially this is there with youngsters. They are going through this kind of challenges. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, I was going to ask you, what do you do when this happens, right?
Yeah.
Because parents are, the bandwidth of patience is only so much, especially the teenage years. And if you have boys, I think it's very tough.
Mhm.
And I know those were my worst parenting years, when my teenagers were there and my older one did not know what to do. And so, I mean, you are a parenting coach, so that's why I wanted to ask you, what do parents do when children are moving from one thing to another and are not sure what to do? Do you believe in those? I know my son did something like a Q&A kind of thing, like a survey, where all of us had to fill out one questionnaire, and then it comes to like, what is your child good at? Do you believe in that?
Not fully. I don't. But what I do say is, when the child picks something, persist that they stay with it for some time, not go back on the first dislike moment that comes. Because anybody who's achieved anything in life will dislike that for a period of time, right? It's almost like a test, you can say, right? Even the best musicians, if I go and speak to them, they'll say, "No, I went, but after I hated it, after that, I started loving it." Right?
Correct.
And same with me. I wanted to go to sea, and then I'm having seasickness in the day when I'm wondering where the hell did I come and get stuck in. And but at the same time, over time, it faded and I started enjoying it, right? So what I say is allow that little bit. Tell them, guys, if you're taking, go for it. Stick with it for some time. I'm not saying don't change. And then after that, you have tried and tried for a couple of times. Then you can say, okay, fair enough. This is not what I want to do, right? It's not because of want of effort. If I always ask, I say the laziness test and the fear test and the thing, if you're not changing your passion because you're lazy, if you're not changing your passion because you're scared of something in the future, or you're not bored because you're bored, because you're just finding that this is not it's not really stirring that what you're speaking, then ask them to change the path, right? But this is where parents have to come and say, you have the right to change. It was your choice. I trusted and support. Stick with it. Fair enough. I will help you with the next one.
I also feel like maybe we should like give like say, okay, you get three chances to do what you want. After that, maybe as a parent, I need to step in and say,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what,
that's a
this
good
is
one.
how.
It's a
Yeah,
good one.
because then they know once they reach that limit,
Yeah,
kids like that, right? And then they know that the decisions will be taken by the parents.
yeah.
And
And
I
they have to think also. Yeah, and they have to. They know that they'll be more guarded on the usage of their choices.
absolutely.
And of course, I come back to my mission: build their will, so they stick with it.
Okay. I think you have to do a session on that for children. Maybe we can talk about that
Build their
separately.
will, yes, build their will, because then they are sorted for life. And whatever they pick, at least they will try. Not that we have to be right in every decision, but at least they will give their heart and soul and say, okay, I did, and it's not for me.
Yeah. Also, it's important, I think, for children. Ganesh, you brought up a whole thing
Discussion,
about.
I think it's a whole topic. I guess
Yeah,
Ganesh's question is like we should have another session just on that, I think.
I feel we should. I love parenting topic.
Yes, I know.
Another thing I mean, just wanted to leave this. I spoke about it in my TEDx talk also. Is about helping children understand that failure is not an end point. It's a teacher, and it is a catalyst for building resilience and perseverance that you were talking about. And I always say every setback is a setup for a powerful comeback, and within that lies the magic that shapes the future you. So it's okay to fail, because every success story is lined with stories of failure, and that's where people have learned and become successful, right?
Yeah,
It's without failure there has not been any success anywhere, I would think.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I think passion, put it in a melting pot with perseverance, and of course your purpose is becomes clear. It's like almost gold, and all those other impurities,
Yeah,
filter out in that melting pot, and the gold stands out. It's almost like that. You have to put it in that crucible of perseverance and see. Yeah.
absolutely.
So I have
Stand.
another
Yes.
question from Saurish Ghosh. The
Hi, sorry.
importance of acknowledgement of the imposter syndrome, Kavitha speaks about us, is truly inspiring. Thank you for the comment, Saurish.
Thank you, Suresh. Thank you for joining.
Brave Momita is is an admirer of yours. Clearly, you're a
Thank
bravo,
you.
Momita.
all
And
all Momita also is launching her, she's a good friend of mine, and she's
okay,
launching her podcast tomorrow on authenticity. So
okay.
Mamita, you have
Many
a
success.
person here, Captain Preetham, who you can interview.
Who's Momita? Is it?
Yes, Momita,
Momita,
yes.
okay. Transformation course.
Yes.
Super wonderful to have you here, Momita, and thanks for taking time out. Thank you, Ganesh. Trust, freedom, support. Thank you, Ganesh, for your comment. And moving ahead, you've been this is also very close to Women's Day, and this is something that very appropriately I've got a person who's passionate about this topic. You've been working with women, empowering them, and what would you tell women, especially women who probably taken a career break, and they want to come back? How do they find themselves passionate?
Very good question, very deep question. I think for women who've taken a break and who are coming back, it's of course going to be very tough. And I too had taken a career break, and but in those days we didn't think so much. But today there's so much of information out there. I think first of all, I'm not an expert in this, but as a woman, as a person who has taken a career break, I first want to understand, is what I was doing, is that what I want to do now? Because as we grow, Captain, you'll agree with me, our values change, our beliefs change, our desires change, our dreams also evolve, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing after a career break is, do I still want to go back to what I was doing? Do I want to do differently? If you want to do differently, I think when you're on that break is when you start updating and upgrading your skills. I feel like when you take a break, also you get enough time. Today, so many things are online, right? You can take online classes. Always have that growth mindset and attend as many sessions, as many these kind of programs. Just listening to somebody could inspire you. So I will say update and upgrade your skills. Start taking classes on communication skills, on leadership, on working in teams. Join networking places, join Rotary or join other clubs like I think Toastmasters is there, BNI, all these places, right? Start going to all these events, start meeting people. You start getting ideas of what people are doing in your industry, outside your industry. Start talking to your old bosses, your peers, and saying what's happening in the industry. Do you think I fit in? Do you think I should be doing? So for me, the feedback is really the breakfast of champions, like they say, right? uh, for me, talking to people, and especially your peer group, and understanding, well, when you were working together, is this what they saw in you? What are some of the strengths that you have? What are your weaknesses? I think we should all start working on that. I think these are some things women on break and who are getting back should start doing. Don't jump straight back into what you are doing, because if you had a child, maybe you have maybe a few more things you need to do at home. So maybe you cannot spend that much time. So what else can you do? So I think we have to work. Each one is different. Each one's work is different. So this is basically what I would say, Captain.
So if I could recap in a way, they don't jump to in a quickly, right? And
Yes.
they connect with people, connect with different viewpoints, and see what's happening out there. And then, would you say try it out for a little while?
Yes, I mean, but do a lot of research before you get
Research.
back, right? Many women I notice, they get back and then they realize this is not for me.
Mm,
And what happens? Then again, you're quitting. So instead of that, do a little more procrastination. This is a good time when you've taken a break. I know I've met many young girls in the last 1 year who've taken a break because of children or children growing up, in laws not being well, and who have realized that they want to completely change their career path. That means sometimes it also means going back to college or taking few extra courses, but they're all thriving now and they're very happy, right? They are doing what they're passionate about, what their true self believes in. They're following their dreams now. When we are younger, maybe we didn't get the opportunities, but now after the break, maybe opportunities are different.
mm. And you also mentioned that you work with this NGO called World of Women,
Yes.
and could you share a little bit what is the work that you do?
So in those, this was a long time ago, not so long ago, maybe 8, 10 years ago. A group of us friends, we were talking one day, and we started this NGO called World of Women. Our whole purpose was about menstrual hygiene, and we also did a lot of sessions in the rural areas where we would go and talk about menstrual hygiene. We would also teach them alternate ways of dealing with menstrual pain. Most of us pop a tablet, so we started teaching these young kids and women yoga. And we also distributed sanitary napkins, 1 years of supply. So we did a lot of sponsorship events. We did fundraising. It was actually one of the nicest things that I have ever done. I think it really gave me um, that it's another thing that lights up in you. It's another, again, a passionate thing, right? When you're doing this selflessly, you have no ulterior motive. It's not at all for yourself, it is for the people. And there is no money involved. You're not taking any salary for this. You're giving your time freely to this. I think as we grow older, I think more and more people should think about ways to volunteer and give back to society. So now currently it so happens, I've come back to this world. I'm working with Sankalp Yoga Shala. My yoga teacher, her name is Suma Ramesh. She wants to educate children, especially in government schools, rural areas. What is menstruation? because most of us don't understand what it is, right? We know we bleed, we have pads. Now parents don't usually explain, especially in rural areas. So we're bringing that education to children to help them understand what is menstruation. And she is totally against medication, so she wants to set up what is called a red tent, where it's a safe space for children who have their periods to come to do their yoga, to rest, and not to pop pills. That's the most important thing. And also about using reusable cloth napkins. A lot of men in the audience, but this is something that all of you should know. It's very important. Sanitary napkins have a lot of cons to it. There are a few pros, but I think the world is moving towards reusable, sustainable. So this is something I've just gotten into, Captain. So if anybody in your circle, any school, anyone needs it, please let me know. You could help me with that. We want to start in a big way, especially in summer. Schools are closing. We want to set it up for next year. It's going to be called the Red Tent.
Red tent, huh?
Yes.
Okay, super. Fantastic to hear that. I hope the audience listening in can
Yes.
reach out to Kavitha. She's active on LinkedIn and YouTube
And
and,
Instagram.
and Instagram. Sorry, Instagram.
Instagram is my alter ego. I'm a Gemini. I have many personalities. I
More
always,
than to spread
yeah,
across the
yeah.
social
I tell
media.
people Instagram is for my fashion and my clothes and everything. LinkedIn is for my work. Facebook, I'm not very active on, and I'm getting back on YouTube. I was telling you I want to get back into my passion and purpose interviews. So that's
Yes.
something I want to do. And if you or anyone knows anyone in the television world, please put me on. I want to take this series to television. So,
Superb. I think it will be a hit for sure, Kavita. And with the passion, that energy that you're bringing in, I think
thank
it's going
you.
to reach to the stars.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the modeling, I'm sure.
Yes.
How was that journey to go into modeling, and especially, starting off when people are like, saying that, oh, I'm done with things like this, and you going on to be Miss Karnataka, runner up. How was the whole journey?
Here there was a lot of imposter syndrome, because you can imagine a 50-year-old woman, not with the zero size, and going into this world where everyone and everybody seems perfect. It was quite scary, but I really believe that this is what I wanted to do. And I truly believe that when you have that passion, when you believe that this is something you want to do, confidence just comes.
Mhm.
The glow that a lot of people say your face is glowing. What do you do? What is your skin? I always say it has nothing to do with that. It is how I feel about myself on the inside, which comes out on the inside, outside. And that's what I took to all the assignments. And one thing I was sure is I want to be comfortable in who I am. And I always told all these people before, I am not size zero. I will not fit into that. If you're okay with me, I will send you my pictures. Then only, call me, because don't call me there and then make me feel less than perfect, because I think I'm perfect the way I am. I think anything we do which is out of the ordinary or different, having a good network of people around you, surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, is so important, Captain Preetham.
Yeah.
So, like, when we do the TED talk, we have our families with us. They truly believe that we belong there, and that itself adds so much confidence, right? Just like that, I found some really great people. I've always attracted good people in my life, and a lot of my friends say it's because of who you are that the right people come. So even though I had a lot of fears about her, everything, I think the shoots just went well. And I had told them beforehand, this is who I am, and they had accepted me and taken me. And so every shoot I've done I feel has come out well. And I feel like every where it's International Women's Day week and everybody's celebrating, invest in yourself. And that's the theme this time. One of the things I did, Captain Preetham, the first thing that I did for myself when I wanted to venture in, I did a photo shoot for myself. I paid for the photographer, the designer, the stylist. I invested in that because I really wanted to see, am I capable? How do I look in pictures? Yes, I'm good looking. I've always been told that. But, it's a different, whole different medium that I'm getting into. That was one of the best things that I did for my ego, my self belief, my confidence, is to do this shoot. So many a time when I talk to women in women forums, I say, if nothing, get a professional shoot done for yourself. You will feel so good about yourself, because at the end of the day, when you look good, you feel good, it comes out in all the work you do. Even if you're a corporate trainer, or you're a coach, when you're feeling good about yourself, you it translates in the work that you do, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to tell people, women especially listening to this, if not today, in the future, get yourself a professional photo shoot and see how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I was recently telling someone I know, that please get this. It will help you leverage. Already very good at your work. You need to also position and be out there and showcase
Yeah,
yourself.
that's why I said executive presence is very important.
Yeah.
Because when you do things like this, you realize your posture. It's not just for women. I feel men also should do this, because men think they can get away with doing nothing. But in today's world, we live in a world that it takes 3 seconds to make a first impression. And if you are a leader and you're not showcasing that presence, people will overlook you in the beginning,
Yeah.
and that first few moments is very important. And like, I remember, Captain, when you walked into the TEDx room, and the way you walked in, you had so much weight, like that gravitas in the way you walked in. And truly, somebody who is always looking at this, truly I appreciate the kind of confidence that you brought in with yourself.
Thank you so much for noticing and appreciating. Thank you so
And
much.
you dressed well too.
Thank you. Thank you for that compliment. Yes. I mean, it was a pleasure meeting you there in the TEDx, sharing, brainstorming our ideas, and just a pleasure to have connected with you there. And what, especially coming to the, I lost one question, is what is the lessons, especially you had a rich life experience, right? You had a rich of all these diverse skills. What lessons would you like to leave the audiences with in some ways?
Hmm. Oh, it's a deep question.
Even a few points that come on the top of your mind.
Yeah, I think one of the first things, I'm going to be 55 soon, and having lived a full life, from somebody who
You
did not.
ideally shave off 10, 15 years, I think, and
Yeah.
apply for the 40s segment, and maybe you'll have a high chance there again.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is, we, uh, as human beings, and especially women, we don't ask for help many a time, and
Oh,
there is no shame in asking for help. And I feel, if I had not asked for help, if I had not gotten the help I got at the time when I was feeling the lowest, right, and I was depressed, and I really was. Nobody knew how I felt inside. And I actually used to pray to Sai Baba, like, show me the light, and I need something to come into my life. Otherwise, I was just falling apart. And it came in the in the shape of a mentor, a group of positive people. I joined a forum called Game Changers Forum, which was a group of positive people trying to make a difference by improving the communication, positive communication. That changed my life. And I feel there I asked people for help, and that made a huge difference. So don't be ashamed to ask for help. I even tell my children, right, they're young, and I say, get a mentor, get a coach, for your get a life coach, a relationship coach. Also get somebody to help you with your finances. If you I am very bad at it, so I truly believe women, especially women, take charge of your finances. Don't be like me at 55. I know I depend on my husband a lot. I wish I had learned this when I was younger. So get a financial advisor. Very important. People who have financial advisors live, I feel, a better quality life for whatever reason. So those are some things. And uh, practice gratitude. That actually makes a huge difference. This gratitude came to me a few years ago. I started reading a book by Rhonda Byrne and changed my life, Captain Preetham. I did that 21-day ritual that she has every day, different aspect of your life you're grateful for. That brought into focus how many good things were there in my life which I was not actually acknowledging. So I actually run gratitude groups for 21 days as a give back. I want more and more people to practice this. So when you wake up in the morning and you sleep at night, just three good things that happen in your life changes your perspective, right? So practice gratitude, and believe in yourself. No one can stop you. You're unstoppable once you believe in yourself. And if you need help, again, ask for help. And so many coaches here, Captain Preetham is there. So, reach out, build a strong network.
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's your net worth is your network. And I've truly realized that. Having reached 55, I have a network from my childhood to now. And I know for everything that I go through in my life, I can just reach out to somebody in my network and they're there for me. Because for me, networking is all about giving. I believe in Zig Ziglar's principle. You will get everything you want in life if you just help enough people get what they want. And everything I do, I live on that principle.
Yeah.
So give back to community, help people when you're networking, because you never know when your network comes to your help. And I think COVID taught us that, right? You
Yeah.
knew the people in your life who actually came and helped you and were there for you. So these are some of the things that come top of mind. I'm sure there are many other profound things I
Sure.
want to say,
Yes.
which
Yes.
I
Which
will
may not have come right now. That's why you have to reach out to Kavitha and
yes.
pick her brain, of course. And I mean, it reminded me, one thing that you kept talking about. It reminded me of this word that I mean, it's like a saying where we say, "Choose your pond carefully."
Oh, yes.
You know,
Choose who you
and
swim with, I guess.
because what I've realized, the fish cannot change the pond, but the pond will change the fish,
Absolutely.
right? So if you choose your pond carefully, that alone will remove you from at least 50% of whatever challenges you may be facing. The mindset
Absolutely.
of people, of
Yeah.
course, the mentor is like a big pond by themselves, and they can pull you out quickly. But otherwise, also change your social circle. If they are pulling you down, find a new pond, right? And that's the best thing you can do for your life, I would say. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think because of COVID, we are on part of so many WhatsApp groups. And I never find, and a lot of people say, I want to be out of this. But there are some groups that have actually pulled us along, and we should be there, give back to that community.
Yeah.
Like I see Deepika, a lot of people here, we're all part of this huge community called She Mantra. There are 500 coaches and trainers, all women,
Mm.
led by one lady, Shilpa Ajwani. It's a community that gives and gives and gives, and it all depends on what you give at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if there are people there to take, there will be. But I think we all should find our tribe. We'll have more than one. It cannot. It just doesn't have to be one.
Yeah.
But we should find that and stick with it. And they are the ones who will come to you when you need help.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely well said. And I mean, this has been an amazing session. I hope all the viewers and listeners have had as much fun as I had, and learning all these things. And do follow this channel. Do follow this channel wherever you're watching. And so there's more such amazing sessions coming your way. And there's a comment. Thank you, Archie. Thank you for your comments. My pleasure. And
Captain Preetham, we have 1 minute. Can I share? I
please,
wanted to share this acronym that I always use for passion. Is that okay?
yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Spoke so much about passion. So
Yeah.
for me, P is about your goals, your interests wholeheartedly. A is for aligning your actions with your values, and taking inspired action is very important. You can't just have all these dreams and goals and not take action. S is stay open to new experiences and opportunities that come your way. Because it is outside your comfort zone, don't say no. Please, please always stay out of your comfort zone. Then the next S is surround yourself with supportive, like minded people, like we were talking. Keep your network big, diverse, and close. Invest in personal growth and development. That is so important. And most of us don't do that because we think it's an additional work, it's a burden. But please invest in yourself. And the time is very short, so optimize your time and the energy that you put into things. Put your energy where it gives you results.
Yeah.
Don't waste your energy. And the last one, N, very important, especially as you grow older. Nurture meaningful relationships and connections, and have deep meaningful connections with people, because in the end of the day, it's your friends that who are going to keep you alive longer. Sorry, I took some more time, but thank you
You
so
know,
much.
it's always a pleasure. I'm always insights help. The very idea is to give a lot of value to the listeners. And I also like to say that I conduct something called the 21-day Art of Discipline programs,
Right.
where I help people build their discipline, focus, consistency. And I keep inviting from time to time, and including for a 7-day workshop. And people who are following can get access to that. So please do stay connected. Add me to your pond, and so I can help you as well. And mostly, thank you, Kavitha, for taking time
Thank you.
out, and
Thank
thank
you.
you to all the viewers for taking
Thank
time.
you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Bye bye.
Thank you all for joining.